When it comes to van conversions, in my opinion, there is one step that many times people neglect, and that is the wall framing system. The easiest way to build a wall on a van is just get a plywood and screw to the structure of the van, and then you have like a box, a plywood box, and then you just build cabinets around that. But in my humble opinion, I don't believe that's the best solution, and the reason for that is because we know that eventually you can have a leak, or eventually you can crash the side of the car into a tree or something, and you need to fix something, and you need to open the wall. And in order to open the wall, when you have a wall behind the cabinets that is screwed and painted, you don't even know where the screws are. So that means you need to break things in order to have access behind the wall. So the idea for this week is to create a wall framing system on the walls of the van that will allow us to screw furniture to the walls. That means it needs to be strong enough to hold furniture, but also it needs to be in a way that anytime we need or anytime we want, we can just take the panel off and we can inspect the behind the wall. And to make this challenge a little bit more complicated, we don't want to have painted plywood walls. We want to have plastic laminated walls without any exposed screws. Challenge accepted.
Well, if you are new to our channel, you might not know that while Metal Boat Yard builds the hull of our new boat, we will be converting a cargo van into our home on wheels to live on it while we finish the building of our boat ourselves.
Ready for this? We have all the wood cut already for the main frames. The one problem we have is that here it's vertical, here is almost vertical, but there is a tiny little angle, and here there is a big angle. So I think the solution in this case is to create an angle cut, because otherwise it's going to be a gap and it's going to be hard to glue. We need to measure the angle of this part and the angle of this part.
We already have everything cut for one side of the van.
I think it's easier to do a dry fit, because every time we decide not to do a dry fit, we make mistakes. You're gonna put all of this on the floor and organize in a way so we can understand if we have the pieces on the right length, on the right thickness, and if it's gonna work out. So that's our wall. Here is the wheel arch, and here's the framing of the wall. Still, we didn't cut the vertical ones for here, because we want to assemble this part first and understand the proper height so we don't make a mistake. But in order to assemble this, we have some things that we need to prepare on this wood. One of them is to create some pocket holes on these vertical ones so we can screw to the horizontal ones. And also we need to fast some fast mounts to the horizontal ones, because the fast mount is what's going to support the wall panel in place.
What is Fastmount?
I don't know if you watched the video where we went to West France a couple weeks ago. We went to visit Seldom Mast. On the same trip, we didn't show you, but we had a secret mission. We went to visit a company that we've been trying to try their products. We've been trying to try? Yeah, we've been wanting to try their products for a long time.
Because we went to use on the boat.
Yeah, ever since I saw the product, I'm like, we need to try that because it's so cool. But we wanted to go in person to their factory, not factory, to their distribution place, because it's manufactured in New Zealand actually. So the Europe distribution place is in West France, and we went there to check their showroom because I wanted to see all the solutions that we could do with the product. I think it's easier for you just to see the video when we visit them. So let's go to West France a couple months ago. This entire sofa is clipped, see? The amount of possibilities that you have, it's endless.
When you want to move with this sofa, for example, everything is paneled.
Oh.
This is a panel and a drawer.
Can you imagine the amount of things that we can do?
How is your brain going?
Just a quick introduction. So this is a clipping system that you can clip any panel to any frame. So that means to make the walls of the van, to make the ceiling, and for the boat. I don't know if you want to have a fake door to hide equipment that you can open whenever you want. You just create a clip system.
And this,
by the way, this is Dominic. That's everyone else. That's Dominic.
Those clips are self-tape on just this part.
And how thick is this?
Oh, it's 4 mil.
4 mil?
4 mil. 4 mil, but strong enough to maintain the female.
Okay.
And on it we have just a test. So this is the self-tape male of the low profile range.
Okay.
And another one, but for the standard range.
Okay.
For mainly ceiling to maintain ceiling panel. And this clip is just 5 kg pull-out load.
And so you buy clip, every clip
Buy
5
clip,
clips. So that means if you put five of those, it's 25 kilos that you can hold.
Yeah.
So 25 kilos.
And usually we use it when we have up to 8 mil plywood, strong plywood.
Yeah.
Above this we can use 10 kg pull-out load, black one.
Okay.
So heavy duty clip.
Yeah. And one question that I always had is, like, if I have a van that a lot of things are connected, will that be like making noise, or is strong tight enough that...
It's strong tight enough. I have here 2 female clips screwed and 1 recess on the wood. On the male clip we have 2 different layers here. The first click is made to maintain the panel. So I put the panel, it can move, but it just maintain. And I will adjust my panel. I have 8 millimeters movement.
Yeah.
So 4 mils each way.
Yeah.
The second click and my panel doesn't move.
I see.
This panel is also clipped on the structure.
Yeah. Everything is clipped, This is clipped also. Like clack.
So we have the different ranges here. The metal clip can be self-tape, double tape. This is the low profile range, and we have a different solution of male. This one is the 5 kg male self-tape.
Okay.
This one is just glued. It's made to be glued and screwed. This one is the standard self-tape, 16.8 millimeters hole.
Okay.
Not 17.
Yeah.
Not 16.5.
How do you get
16.8.
And how can you do that? You have the tool for that, probably.
Of course. With the movement also. And here we have 4 different clips. In fact, there is 7 male clip on this range. 5 kgs, 10 kgs.
Okay.
So we will change it depending on the thickness of the panel. Those ones are also self-taped. We have a 5 kgs and a 15 kgs clip, but the shape are different.
Yeah.
Those ones are more used for vertical panel because we have more shear load on those one. Very low profile, but heavy duty one here. So if you don't want to break your you need to have your hands, you have also a tool. Just remove one. Here we have the very low profile with the 5 kgs and the 10 kg clip. So in fact, to glue the clip, we set the female first, and after that, so they are recessed in a 25 millimeters hole, and then you put directly the male on it. After that, you put the glue and apply the glue and
hold in place, and that's it.
And to show you the different ranges we have, very low profile range. This male combined with this female make 25 kilograms pull-out load.
Ooh, 25. So 2 clips can hold Roberta. You can be holding by 2 clips.
The textile clip here. So the textile female clip is just sewed on the cushion.
Yeah.
I put it on the male here, and I just to release. I just have to do that. 1 female clip.
Yep.
For any kind of cushions, and different male. This one is a male with a self-tape. The other one is a male clip to screw, and the third one,
you can even do.
It's a male clip to sew. Also, we can put together 2 cushions.
We just love when you find such simple but at the same time so well thought solutions. Can you imagine the amount of problems we can solve using Fastmount in our future projects? On the second part of our visit, we had an amazing one-on-one class on how to properly install Fastmount. So expect to see many of our future projects using Fastmount. But if you want to know now about some installation, you can check their YouTube channel. They have many great technical videos there. And of course, we couldn't live without doing some shopping for the van project. Thanks so much, Dominic and Fastmount, for making our lives much easier. You guys are awesome. But now, back to the project.
So now that you understand what we're gonna do, I think it's time for us to start actually doing it in real life. So this is a kit with all the tools necessary. That's really cool for this project. As you can tell, we have a lot of samples.
This is just one of the...
Yeah. We have another box with different ones. We are only gonna install the female and leave the framing ready to receive the walls in the future. So the one thing that we really like about Fastmount is the amount of manuals and guides they have. You go to the website and you can find every single information you need, but also they gave us this little book. And on this book, it shows every single product they have. And also in the end of the book, you can find this. That is the installation guide. So here, it tells you, you're gonna build a wall. That's the amount of fast mounts you need. That's how far they can be apart. How wide is the wall? Is that a heavy wall? Is that a light wall? Or a ceiling panel? We're gonna have every 25 centimeters, one clip.
It's ready, simple like that.
1 out of, I don't know, 50 something. We need to do that on every single one of the marks we have. And in this way, when we have the wall panel, we just clamp in place. It's gonna be awesome.
I can't wait to have the panels in place, insulation on the back, and not inside the house.
Dream.
Dream coming true soon.
All the clamps are in place. We need to screw and glue the vertical to the horizontal ones. And the way we're gonna do that is by creating pocket holes. And to make it easy, we're gonna use the Kreg jig. Yeah, we've been using Kreg for, I think, like 7 years. When we started the channel, we had a tiny little Kreg jig. And now, luckily, we got the big one. So it's gonna make much easier when we do a lot of pocket holes instead of just one. Clamp, the jig, special screws, bit, and drill. First step, you need to choose which thickness of plywood you're using, and you have this little tiny jig to see how thick is your plywood. It shows us 13. Then I get this tool and I open this little limiter and I choose 13 inside there. This is ready. Just like that, you have pocket holes. Now we flip this around and we do the other side. Now you get the special screws. You're gonna screw and glue just to guarantee. First one done.
First of many. Yay.
Now we need to do in every single one, and after this glue is dry, with a pocket hole and glue, and this is gonna be glued to the van and screwed to the van, is gonna be rock solid. That's what I hope at least. Now we have 100% of the pieces of the puzzle.
We
think. So now we're trying to figure out how we're gonna assemble this. I think you're gonna just see a time lapse because it's just gonna be like 142 screws of pocket hole, and then we're done.
And we are also done with the screws. The screws are gonna be over once we finish this.
I think we're gonna start with this one. Until this point, everything is all theoretical. Now we need to see if this actually works. It's a little bit scary because we spend a lot of time building these frames, And now we need to put in place. I've been postponing, but eventually they need to go to place. So the next step now is to get these two parts, and we need to screw them together with the pocket holes and glue. And with this ready, we can apply Sika Flex in the right spot, put against the structure of the van, and then we can screw through the van.
Let's do this!
Let's do it. I mean, we need to do it. That's it. So now that the frames are finally ready, it's time to glue them to the location. So for that we're going to use Sika Flex 522. This is a bond compound and a sealant that you know already, we've been using a lot on the van. And after that we're going to screw with self-tapping screws directly to the structure of the van. And the reason for that is because we have the cork. If we didn't have the cork, if we didn't have the cork, we would just apply Sika Flex 100% guarantee it would hold in place. But you never know if the cork with time, I don't know, somehow detached from the panel and then everything falls together. So just as a guarantee, and also is a good thing because we can control how much we tie the screw, and then we have always the same thickness of Sika Flex, and in this way it glues better. Let's do it. Nothing is 100% ready until the boss comes to check it out.
Oh, it's really strong.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed in the time lapses, but I put some reinforcements on the back. And the reason for that is because this wall frame system from here to here, it's only supported on the horizontal plane, and that means all of these are just relying on this attachment. And it's tricky because I need to have this cross because Fastmount needs to have a support in the center, and that means with just it was not strong enough. And now check this out, we can shake it even, but it's not going to break anything.
That means we can put furniture, we can put the walls, and it's gonna be all fine.
So even though we're not going to install the wall panels in place yet, I just want to give you a sample on how this is going to work in the future, so you have a picture of the full solution. Step number one is to find the right mayo for the situation. So the problem in our case is that the panel we are going to use, the plywood, is going to be really, really thin, and in order to have the self-tapping one, you need to kind of have a minimum thickness of the plywood, otherwise it might get loose. We're gonna try first. If it doesn't work, then we're gonna glue, but I prefer to go with this solution. So for this sample, this is the one we're gonna use. Step number two, you need to transfer the position of the clamps to the panel that we're gonna have the males. So you clamp these guys into the female, and with these guides in place, just locate the wall. So now I know exactly where the holes need to be. I just get this accessory for the drill. I locate exactly where it is. Go to the next one. And now you get this other accessory. The clamp goes.
The wood was too short to have the bottom ones?
Yeah. Next step is to take those guides out, otherwise you cannot clamp the wall. The last step is to put the wall in place. Our wall is going to be much thinner than this to be light, because we don't need to be really strong. The wall is going to be really narrow. And the cool thing is that anytime you need to do any maintenance or anytime you need to inspect behind of the wall, you can see. You just... That's it. You open, inspect. Oh no, it's good. Back in place.
I can't wait to have the final walls in place with insulation on the back and everything installed.
We had this idea, but we never tried, and now it feels like it's gonna work really well. So one last thing that I forgot to explain is the reason why we apply Sika in between the frame and the van. The main reason is because of noise. Whenever you have a lot of wood structure screwed to something in movement, it's gonna make noise, and that's really annoying. But now you're gonna say, but you have cork. You're screwing a piece of plywood to the cork, and the cork is gonna act as a silent layer in between. Kind of. The problem is the van is not straight, and that means that the frame is not touching the cork everywhere. Some places the frame is touching the cork, some places the frame is not touching the cork, and whenever we have a Sika layer, we create a flat surface for the frame. That means now the frame is touching everywhere and it's glued with a rubber that is gonna help to hold better in place, but also is gonna help to not create the noise. I think it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it easier, and I'm gonna try to draw all of this on the iPad and show you on the actual footage of the van. Just come with me. So on this side, the Fastmount only goes from here to here. The reason for that is because under the Fastmount we're gonna have a bed, and inside the bed there is no problem of having exposed screws, so we are gonna screw the inside panel under the bed. But from the bed up, we want to have the good finishing walls with no screws, and that's why we have all these Fastmounts prepared for that.
And also we have two different panels here. We are gonna have one here and another one here, and different even colors.
Yeah. And why that?
Because we have an angle from here to here, so we want to break this angle in two.
Yeah, we could have like a round wall, but we didn't like the look of the round wall, so we decided to have a flat wall on the bottom, a flat wall on the top. And then you can see that the Fastmount goes all the way to here, but on the last piece of plywood there is no Fastmount, and the reason for that is because we're going to have a cabinet all the way around the van, and we want to screw the cabinet to the frame. We don't want to Fastmount because it's really heavy, and it's going to be much safer if we have it screwed to the frame.
So coming to this side, we are going to have a cabinet from here all the way there. So we start the kitchen and then the office area. And the countertop is gonna go all the way to here. So here we are gonna have just screwed panels, and from here to here we are gonna have a wall with Fastmount and
Cabinet on the top.
Cabinet on the top.
And now we can put the wall panels in place. So that's the reason why we didn't install the walls in place yet, is because in order to know exactly the dimension of the wall, it needs to have the cabinets in place already, because we want the wall to go almost to the edge, but we don't want to touch the edge. We want to have an expansion gap, and we want the gap to be even everywhere and to be beautiful, so it needs to be after. So what's next now?
Next week we are gonna finish this tray that Duca is finishing this week after 16 days. Today is the day 17.
I'm gonna be honest, the reason why we did the framing this week is for me to gain some time, because I didn't want to have a half project. I want to be 100% done before I show you, because this is a special project for me. So we did the framing so I could gain time to finish this for next week. See you next week.
By the way, baby is growing well. A lot of people have been asking about that. We are on the month 6 now, and it's everything fine.
See you next week.